What is going on, everybody? It's Friday, and it is episode 828 of Pop Culture Crisis. Hope you're all doing well. My name is Brett, and I'm here with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Happy Friday. And also, happy National Matcha Day.
Oh, is that what today is?
Yes, it is.
I
didn't even know until this morning.
What the hell is matcha again? You're going to have to tell me.
Honestly, I love matcha, but I can't give you a straight answer as
to what it is.
Yeah, it's like green tea leaves, but they're like powdered and they mix it into milk. And
that just doesn't sound good to me.
That's a matcha latte. But you know, I swear it's really good. So to celebrate National Matcha Day, I did enjoy a matcha latte this morning. And
that whole description just didn't do it for me.
No, everyone says that it tastes like grass and people are weirded out by it. I initially was as well. It had to grow on me. It's an acquired taste.
When did you start drinking it?
Like, not long ago. Probably since,
I remember you mentioning it, like, recently, but I'd never heard you mention it
December,
before.
maybe?
Okay.
I think I started drinking matcha in December because my friend, like, she was like, have you ever tried matcha before? I was like, no, everyone says that it tastes like grass.
Why would I try something that tastes like grass?
I gave it a try, and I was like, I want to be a person who likes matcha. And I became that person.
Well, that's what they say. Be the change you want to see in the world.
You don't like matcha? Are you racist?
People will not know the skit you're talking about right now. All right, guys, it is Friday. I hope you are all doing well. It's going to be a chill day today, but hit the like button on this video, this live stream, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. The best way that you can help channels like this grow, help shows like this find new viewers, is to share the content out with everybody that you know. And let's face it, we're talking about at least one thing here that you want to share with other people. I promise you that. So do that. Remember, like, just hit the like button. It always helps us.
Please.
If you hit the like button. And as Mary said, we're trying to get to 1,000 ratings on Spotify.
Yeah,
do you want to check and see where we're at now?
Let me check on that because I saw a huge jump from yesterday to today. I want to see the most up-to-date number. We have 920 ratings on Spotify.
That's like
as of
40 or 50?
This. Yeah, so a huge jump from just yesterday. We're still at 4.5 stars.
Okay.
So staying in that range.
Yeah.
But we only have 80 more ratings to go on Spotify until we've reached our goal of getting over 1,000.
Let's do this, guys.
If you have yet to give us a rating on Spotify, what are you even doing? You're a fake fan if you haven't given us a rating, so please do that.
So what are we talking about today, ladies and gentlemen? Well, we talked about Harry Potter yesterday, and we're going to talk about more Harry Potter today, because after yesterday's story about brand new Snape actor Papa Esiadu signing an open letter in support of trans rights, which goes against the beliefs of book creator JK Rowling, today we're going to talk about more Harry Potter news because, you know, completely unprompted, Casey Bloys. I'll never get that one right.
You never want to have the last name Boyles.
I've been rewatching Fringe, and there's Broyles, which is where that's
like having
from.
The last name Scabies.
Yeah.
Or the last name Leprosy.
Penicillin.
Yeah, I don't. He wouldn't want to be called Casey.
We'll just call him Casey. He came out unprompted and said, "Look, there's going to be none of J.K. Rowling's anti-trans message in these shows." I don't think anybody in history actually thought that was going to happen. The people that are boycotting the show are boycotting completely on principle. They weren't like thinking that she was going to sneak some type of anti-trans message into it. But I do believe that at least when it comes to casting, her feminist and modern leftist agenda does come through in certain things, whether we want to talk about the late adjusting of Dumbledore's sexuality or the changing of Hermione later on and all that stuff. She does let it bleed in there. So we're going to talk about it. Also, we're going to get into what John Lithgow has said because he is getting pushback for taking the role of Dumbledore. We're also going to look at Tom Felton, who of course played Malfoy in the original movies, getting a role behind the scenes in the new show because, let's face it, they're rewarding loyalty because he's always been good to her, despite the fact that the original 3 stars of the show all distanced themselves from JK Rowling. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about Alex Cooper. If you don't know who Alex Cooper is, she is the host and owner, I guess, of Call Her Daddy. And they are making a documentary about it. So you get rewarded for your degenerate behavior over there at Disney. So we're going to talk about it. Also, if you want to know what the Fountain of Youth looks like, it is not like some crystalline blue liquid. It's actually corpse fat.
Yeah. They're just taking fat from cadavers and injecting it into their faces at this point.
So we've got that.
Secret's out.
We got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. So if you're ready, Mary, we can just get started. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go for it.
Taking into the account the derangement of both theater kids and leftists in this day and age, it's no surprise that they have now written a musical about Luigi Mangione, the accused killer of healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. I just want to mention, first off, that a lot of people are saying there's no proof that he did it. They're saying that because Luigi is pleading not guilty to this crime, that we should actually entertain that possibility, that he was completely framed for this murder. But I think that while they're attempting to frame this as a nuanced, apolitical analysis of Luigi Mangione's cultural impact, what's really happening here is that they are further lionizing this man. And I'll use their description to tell you about it. This is a comedy musical that imagines the surreal scenario of Luigi Mangione, the man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, sharing a prison with real-life inmates Sam Bankman-Fried and Sean Diddy Combs. While the setup is absurd, it's also rooted in a strange truth. These 3 men were indeed incarcerated at the same facility. That unlikely fact sparked our team's creative exploration. This show is not a celebration of violence of any kind, nor is it an attempt to pass judgment on an ongoing legal matter. Keep in mind, Luigi is still awaiting trial. Our hearts go out to the family of Brian Thompson, and we acknowledge the pain and complexity surrounding this case. Instead, Luigi the Musical uses satire to ask deeper cultural questions. Why did this case strike such a chord with so many people? Why did a figure like Luigi become a kind of folk hero in certain corners of the internet? What does that say about how we see institutions in America today? Our characters reflect 3 institutions of modern disillusionment: healthcare, tech, and Hollywood. Each represents a pillar of American life where public trust has eroded and where people increasingly feel betrayed, exploited, and abandoned. By placing these forces in one absurd prison cell, we're offering a mirror to our moment. Campy, surreal, and funny, but also emotionally honest.
Okay, so honestly, like, at least they put some thought into their explanation of what it is.
They sure did.
And if we're to believe, just if I'm being honest, if we're to believe that Diddy is guilty of everything they say he is, and I don't know if he is, right, of something as evil as sex trafficking, why is it that somehow it feels less egregious to see some type of absurdist stage play about Diddy, despite the horrifying nature of the crimes, than it is about Sam Bankman-Fried, or I'm sorry, not of Sam Bankman-Fried, of Luigi Mangione, considering the fact that nowadays we oftentimes consider sex crimes to be the unforgivable crime, whereas murder is seen as something where it's a take it or leave it depending on who you are. Different people have different ideas about the forgivable nature of homicide. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Before I respond to that, we have a 20 from Shane H. Wilder. To the tune of That's Amore. When you off a guy and a manhunt is nigh, that's Luigi. To Oklahoma, Mangione is clear he's clinically insane, thought he could beat the insurance elite, and threw his life right down the drain. I have a lot to work with, and they say it's an inspired play after Chicago.
I think the reason why it seems less absurdist to do it about somebody like Diddy is because he was already in the public eye.
So I think it's obvious, given the extreme left slant of
Yeah.
theater kids, especially those based in the San Francisco Bay Area. They have, of course, a bias toward Luigi Mangione's cause, or at least whatever that's been twisted into in the media. They hate Sam Bankman-Fried because he represents the tech CEOs and AI, and they hate Diddy because obviously the nature of his accusations. So Luigi is still, in my opinion, being characterized as a sort of folk hero by these people, even if they deny that claim. And I looked into the people behind this musical and found their Instagram page, where they've been introducing themselves one by one to their audience. And given the nature of the content they're making about this musical and the things they're saying about Luigi, that I believe supports my idea that they actually do idolize this guy.
What's interesting is they've turned comments off, which means they don't want any pushback. I find it interesting because, like, if I'm being honest, if you're going to make very, very edgy, controversial art, you think you'd want to gather up all the publicity and all the engagement that you could. So perhaps it isn't about the fact that it's edgy. It's because they actually believe that he did the right thing. Therefore, they don't want to.
That there's a cause behind it.
Yes, they care more about getting this message out there without it being hindered by people saying something back, even if that means hindering its reach by not allowing other people to have an opinion.
They only want the mainstream media publications to cover this. They don't want a social media discourse to run free.
Yep.
But before we show you who is involved in this on these Instagram posts, I want to just clarify. I don't know who is playing Luigi, but it looks like they have cast women to play both Sam Bankman-Fried and Diddy.
I mean, that's pretty progressive to gender swap the criminals.
I don't know why, but here are a few of them, one playing Sam Bankman-Fried in this reel.
Here we go.
Oh, hello there. Life just handed me a lemon, and so I made the choice to audition for the hottest musical in San Francisco, Luigi the Musical. My name's Andre Margotini, and I'll be playing Sam Bankman-Fried, the billionaire Nepo baby who stole all your money.
Shut that dog up.
My favorite thing about Luigi, he's got a fine taste in breakfast food. Here's to the hash brown. Here's to a smile.
I mean, I hope the play is better than that reading.
Yeah, it didn't really sell it for me. And then secondly, we have the music director of the
Gosh, they all look the same.
Here. Yeah.
Hey, what's
That was a bit of a millennial pause. Hold on.
There was a millennial pause.
Hey, what's up? I'm Ariel Johnson. I am the music director of Luigi the Musical. And my favorite fact about Luigi is that he worked on the Civilization computer game series. I'm a huge fan.
There's a millennial pause at the beginning and
the end.
So that's the musical director. And now we have the woman playing Diddy.
Okay.
This one is the best, honestly.
Please be a race swap. Please be a race swap. Damn it.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Janae Lucas. I will be playing the P. Diddy Sean Puffy Combs in Luigi the Musical, coming soon to a theater near you. What I love about Diddy is that he
Wait, I thought it was supposed to be what she loves about Luigi.
Well, I don't know.
really has taught us that if you step on a crack, you will break that man back.
I don't even get it.
I don't
Okay.
either.
I
don't get any of this,
Yeah.
to be honest.
It's very absurd. You know, this isn't the only play. I actually, I was thinking about something beforehand, and somebody actually reminded me on X to bring up. Did you see Slam Frank? The play
No.
Slam Frank. Watch this. This is a real thing.
Take a look at this actress playing Anne Frank. And this one, and this one, and this one. What do all of these actors have in common? They're all white. Over the years, our world has been getting more and more diverse, but our Holocaust narratives have not been able to keep up. Until now! I've created a new musical called Slam Frank that combines hip-hop, spoken word poetry, and mucho diversity so that we can have a version of this story that is prescient and relevant to future generations.
That's a real thing. I just thought you'd find that interesting.
Slam Frank.
Slam Frank. I mean, it's like
amazing.
I mean, Slam Frank sounds like honestly like a band name.
So, just taking a first glance at the people involved in Luigi the Musical, you can tell this is the average profile of who you would assume is waiting outside of the courtroom for
Yes.
Luigi and holding up signs in support of him. I'm not saying that that's true of those individuals, but to make a generalized statement, they have all the traits of Luigi stans.
Yeah, if you're looking for more conventionally attractive women that are into criminals, look for the women that are into serial killers. They're the blonde, the tall, the leggy. They're the ones waiting outside for the.
I mean, they're
the
never
Hannibal Lecter
winners.
types.
They're never winners. But
No. That's the opposite. I think that you end up finding out they work like high middle management in an email job.
I
and
mean,
they've got money.
they don't have winsome faces,
I don't
generally
know.
speaking. So all of the shows for Luigi the Musical have sold out of tickets so far. Now
It's gonna be number one with a bullet.
It's not that impressive because I looked into it and there are about 60 seats in the theater that they're using
Mm-hmm.
currently. But this is possibly a jumping off point for Luigi the Musical to get national attention and make it to Broadway.
Yep.
So Luigi Mangione is going to have his Broadway debut possibly before he is even convicted of murder.
In the chat, Mr. PKWT says, if Luigi looked like a Reddit mod neckbeard, they would be calling for the death penalty. No. He allegedly killed a healthcare CEO. They'd be supporting it either way.
If he
They
had
just
the
wouldn't be
same
evangelizing him.
manifesto- If he had the same manifesto, yeah. But he would just have a smaller fan base if he weren't conventionally attractive.
Correct.
There would still be a fan base, and the domino effect is crazy to watch. I guess it's better for Luigi Mangione to inspire art than inspire more violence, but
I mean, we're seeing
both.
Yeah,
So
we're seeing both because there
Yeah.
have been other attempts on
it's
the
not an
lives
either
of-
or
Yep.
situation. And I feel like almost I'm not saying that, this should be suppressed in any type of way, but it's not going to encourage people to imitate him
Just makes
because
me,
it's showing you that you will get glory
it just
for
makes me
committing
roll
acts
my
of violence.
eyes. It just makes me roll my eyes. Like when I see these types of things, it's like the art house version of someone who writes letters to serial killers.
Thankfully, a lot of people I expected to be praising this do find it distasteful and
Interesting.
find it to be poor timing or insensitive to the victim,
I mean,
especially in regard to Diddy.
I mean,
being
the
in it.
better version of this is if they made like an X-Files episode about something like this, where you find out that he's part of some shadowy government conspiracy, and the CEO was, in league with some group that was trying to make alien-resistant vaccines, and they wanted to get rid of him so that they could not have that created. That's what I was just rewatching Musings of a Cigarette Smoking Man, where they show that he was the one who killed JFK and MLK. I'd rather see that type of art.
I don't think we need another musical about a vigilante killer with a fan base after seeing Joker Folie à Deux,
There you go.
which was a train wreck.
There you
We
go.
don't need any more of that.
All right, let's move on then. Let's talk about there's a dark secret that Blake Lively has that apparently Taylor Swift knows all about.
Yeah, in the war between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, one of the unlikely casualties was Blake Lively's friendship with Taylor Swift. A longtime friend, not only that, but also the godmother of her children. It seems that over this time period, Taylor Swift has distanced herself from Blake and doesn't want to be involved in the controversy, certainly doesn't want to be subpoenaed and called to testify in the trial in 2026. That would be terrible for her.
That's not
and her
dragon
reputation.
behavior. Dragons should go to court for you.
Yeah, well, this dragon is getting dragged into Blake Lively's mess.
Dragging me into court.
And in case you're unaware, that's referencing the infamous text message that was either written by Blake herself or ghost written by Ryan Reynolds, referring to Taylor Swift as one of Blake's dragons, thereby weaponizing her fame as a fear tactic against Justin Baldoni to coerce him into basically letting Blake take complete control over his movie. So Taylor Swift found out about that in the discovery process of this lawsuit, not from her friend, and likely felt betrayed. But there's more to it than that. According to a blind item that was posted to Instagram last month, Taylor Swift has another reason to distance herself from Blake Lively, and it's because of something revealed by Brittany Mahomes. So here is the post from Katie Paulson, who goes by Without a Crystal Ball. It says it has an insider scoop on a source from a girls' trip with none other than Taylor Swift frenemy Brittany Mahomes.
Okay.
So they know each other, obviously, because their respective spouse, or I guess in Taylor
Significant
Swift's
other
situation, significant other, are on the Kansas City Chiefs. So they've had to spend time with each other, but I don't think they get along very well. Brittany Mahomes allegedly spilled tea on why Blake Lively and Taylor Swift are no longer friends.
Damn, I thought you were about to say
to the group of women that she was with.
Thought you were about to say that she spilled actual tea on her. That would have been really interesting.
It's not actual tea. So according to this unnamed source, Brittany Mahomes was telling all of these women that she heard a rumor of Lively trying to initiate an affair with Justin Baldoni while they were working on the set of It Ends With Us. This suggests that Justin Baldoni rebuffed her, rejected her advances, given that he is a happily married man and doesn't want to get in any trouble and doesn't want to, have misconduct allegations, which he got anyway.
Yep.
So most likely this suggests that Taylor Swift told Brittany Mahomes this information, that she found it out from Blake Lively herself. But this is unconfirmed. We don't know whether to believe it. And it's something that people have floated as a theory for months now also, that this is basically a revenge plot from Blake Lively against Baldoni because she was humiliated when he rejected her. And there's also a theory that Ryan Reynolds is behind all of this. When he found out that Blake Lively was getting into an entanglement on set with her co-star, he flipped out and basically went into supervillain mode and wanted to destroy Justin Baldoni as a result. Instead of just fixing the problems in his marriage...
I feel like he could just... I honestly feel like if he wanted to do that, he could just call up anybody that ever planned to work with him and just be like, don't do it.
But here's the thing. It makes sense why Ryan Reynolds would take it so personally. Because he allegedly got with Blake Lively while he was still with Scarlett Johansson because they fell in love on the set of a movie. This is something that Ryan Reynolds is personally guilty of in his past. So it makes sense that he would be especially on guard with the same thing happening in regard to his wife's professional career. Like, it's not as simple as we can just kiss and pretend to have sex on camera and then go home at the end of the day like nothing happened. Most of the time, you're not actually able to sever the ties as easily. It probably takes a very unique type of person to perform intimate scenes on a Hollywood set and completely divorce their emotions from it.
I don't know.
99% of people, I guarantee you, would be completely incapable of doing that because that's actually normal. It's normal to feel that way, that you shouldn't be doing intimate things with people other than your spouse.
I imagine that for the ones that are truly successful in the industry, that there's a certain level of distance that they take from the role when they're done. Like, have you seen the articles recently that, like, there's been, like, this rash of articles that are now making fun of method acting? They're like, shut up and leave it at home. That's the
narcissistic.
That's the discipline, right? And I don't know. On one hand, I agree with you because most of the time, I think that the actors that are successful because they can uniquely tap into emotions that they might not be feeling to portray it on camera. And then somewhere in the middle there, it gets lost between feeling it, disengaging from it, and then going on about your day. Like, it's even funnier when you find out when actors that have really great chemistry on camera don't like each other, which I'm always personally a fan of. Like, I like it when actors don't like each other but actually do well together, because it means they're both consummate professionals.
Yeah, I don't like the idea that in Hollywood they just accept this as the norm, that you're like expected to do all of these.
I mean, it's kind of a requirement of the job, right? It's not like they make you try out for those roles.
It's not a requirement though, because you can choose not to do sex scenes.
That's what I'm saying. It's a requirement of the job should you go for those roles.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't have to go for those roles.
Yeah, I just feel like if I fell in love with my own spouse on a Hollywood set, who was married at the time,
I mean,
I wouldn't really risk it.
Just the being married part makes it unbelievably like doomed from the get-go.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting. Some people are hearing this rumor and they're instead turning a critical eye to Justin Baldoni's marriage and saying that actually he's the one with marriage problems, turning the tables on him. Fans and critics alike have pointed out aspects of Justin Baldoni's marriage that seem rather strange. For instance, and this is no secret, Justin Baldoni is a woo-woo spiritual weirdo. He has very niche religious beliefs, and he is the type of person who goes out of his way to kind of spill his feelings everywhere on social media, so this completely tracks. When Justin Baldoni proposed to his wife, Emily, he went all out. He made a short film that she got to watch before he got down on one knee. That was a 27-minute long proposal video. He says, "It was my first movie, actually." He made the short film with the help of some friends, saying, quote, "It was a big joke." The proposal video ended up becoming the project that kicked off Justin's career. After saying yes to his proposal, Emily gave Justin permission to share it with the world on YouTube, and it has now amassed over 14 million views.
She's an actor too, so that tracks to me.
Yeah, but some have pointed out that this video seems more geared toward giving Justin Baldoni an ego boost rather than proclaiming his love for his wife.
You want to know a weirder story than both of these? Do you know who Camille Nanjiani is?
Yeah.
Camille Nanjiani wrote, directed, and starred in a movie about him falling in love with his wife, and his wife was a producer and worked on the movie with him, and another woman plays his wife and he plays himself.
Ick. Yeah, that's just such a red flag.
I can't hate him because he made the X-Files, which is one of my favorite podcasts of all time.
Like, hey babe, what if I made a movie about falling in love with you, but
then did it with somebody else?
Cast someone as you who's like way hotter than you. What about that?
I don't even remember who.
And she was like, "I'm sold." Like, what are you talking about?
And the best part is, if I remember correctly, she's like a therapist.
Oh yeah, they're all
like,
they're weirdos, not to be trusted when it comes to, modeling your relationship after theirs. People have also pointed out that part of his vows to his wife were apologies for his faults, for his shortcomings, for his insecurities, his ego, everything he's ever done or said to hurt her. He apologized to his wife during his vows for anything he ever brought to his relationship that hasn't been pure, which again also just seems to be making it about yourself and self-pathologizing.
Yep.
He also often makes jokes about having marital issues. One of the things that he is credited for saving his marriage is, I'm not kidding you, a hyperbaric oxygen therapy tank. He says that
what's his religion again?
There are no marriage issues an hour of pure O2 can't fix.
What is his religion again?
Baha'i.
When we were back in Michigan, we drove by a Baha'i church.
Oh.
Yeah, we did.
I didn't know there were that many of them. Where was it?
I was somewhere, it was somewhere outside of Detroit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There aren't that many of them. So it's surprising that basically his entire production company is full of
the only people
who follow this religion that no one's ever heard of. Yep. Or at the very least they're, amenable to it and they work under the same worldview or these values that they hold.
I've never been in a hyperbaric chamber. I would be interested to know how that saves your marriage. Like, okay,
Yeah, I
maybe
don't
what it
know.
is she says something annoying and he's like, he's like, ugh, honey. And then he just leaves the room and he goes into the hyperbaric chamber. But what he doesn't realize is all he has to do is just go to another room. You don't have to go to a hyperbaric chamber if your wife's being annoying.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like marriage counseling is an off-label use for
Yeah.
oxygen therapy. But yeah, he's very open about like how his marriage has had its ups and downs. He's posted things saying marriage is no fairy tale. It's not about a happy ending or the illusion of perfection. Marriage is about work. We're all flawed and just trying to figure it out. Some more openly messy than others. We all have stuff. We all have shit. Let's stop pretending we don't and embrace it. That's all true and like fine and good, but doesn't mean you need to share it with everybody on your social media platform.
Yeah.
So beyond the pale. And now, in order to combat divorce rumors, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have seemed to basically flood the zone
With a lot of
positive
public-
positive stories about them.
And they've been in public more.
They've been making public outings together nonstop. Some PR experts say the use of excessive PDA between Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds as a distraction from the negative press could backfire on them. And Blake Lively is also planting a lot of stories about her streetwear, her fashion. There were 3 articles in 1 hour recently just on her outfits that she was wearing out and about in New York, instead of stories about the most obvious controversy that is plaguing her career at the moment. So it definitely seems like her PR is working overtime to plant positive stories to combat the negative, and it's not drowning out the noise.
I mean, I think either way, Baldoni is better off because they're just a less public couple, and she's of less. I mean, they're both of less note, fame-wise.
It's so funny. You can release a short film about your relationship, and you're still considered a less public couple in Hollywood.
Then, well, you know, rather than Blake and
All things considered.
Ryan, you know, like I said, she's. I knew who his wife was before I knew who he was. I had seen her in tons of stuff as like a as a guest actor on tons of shows.
Yeah.
So that wasn't shocking to me. But you know, I think I think they're both kind of a little screwed. But if I had to guess, I'd say that Ryan and Blake have less of a chance of breaking up because there's too much money invested in all of it.
Well, look, she is a civil rights titan.
That's exactly right.
And a fashion icon.
Champagne and all. Because what you need to do to be a civil rights icon in Hollywood is wear expensive clothes and go to women's summits where you will then,
And donate to the NAACP.
in between sips of champagne, talk about how you are saving the world.
Yep.
That's how things change. Trust me, I know. All right. What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see cute first. We've seen cringe first for the last few days.
All right, guys, we're about halfway to a crisis party. All right, here we go. This one is from Kayla. 2 cats, 1 couch. Well, I'm not sure how I feel about the statement.
Okay, the wording is a little off, but very cute.
Very cute. One looks very tired, and the other one looks like the gray cat looks like it got fallen asleep on.
Now can't move.
And now can't move for fear of interrupting the moment.
I love when cats cuddle.
They
love each other.
This will never happen in our household.
No,
Me and
never.
Olivia will never see this.
They're
ever.
social distancing.
They're always the closest Chloe and Mocha get is when they're eating because their bowls are right by each other.
But only reluctantly.
And
so.
even then, like they
There's
can
tension.
they can only get that close because they're eating. If there weren't something going on to keep them apart, they would swipe at each other. And then Toast will just come into the room and walk right up to all of them, and then they're like, "Get the hell away from me."
Toast is so happy-go-lucky.
Toast
she
is
doesn't know what's going on.
Toast is very happy-go-lucky. It's because
She doesn't know how to read the room.
Toast has youth. So, all right, cringe of the day.
This is a Lady Gaga fan having a mental breakdown outside of her hotel.
Unless you react like this when you see me in real life, you're a fake fan of the show.
Gaga! Gaga! Gaga!
Little do you know, every time Mary leaves the studio, there's somebody outside that does this to Mary. They go out and they go, Mary! Gaga! Gaga! Is that a guy or a girl?
I think it's a guy who thinks he's a girl.
Okay. Gaga! Gaga!
Love the Pop Crave logo over the genitals.
Very well done.
Like, why is this person naked?
I'm assuming so.
Like, someone cart him away
Yep.
to a padded cell stat.
All right.
That is what he needs.
All right. With that being said, let's get started.
It's crazy how so far out from the actual release of the Harry Potter series at HBO, we're just seeing news stories about it almost constantly. And this latest update is Chief Content Officer over at HBO, Casey Bloys, coming out to, I guess, defend JK Rowling, or rather push back on the idea that her ideological views about gender are going to be reflected in the content that they produce going forward. So this was on a recent podcast appearance of his. He was defending their decision to remain in business with JK Rowling. Here was his full quote. "The decision to be in business with JK Rowling is not new for us. We've been in business for 25 years. When asked if Rowling's views on the trans community made him worried for the show, he said, "We already have a show on HBO from her called CB Strike that we do with the BBC. It's pretty clear that those are her personal political views. She's entitled to them. Harry Potter is not secretly being infused with anything. And if you want to debate her, you can go on Twitter."
I will actually take this moment to give a recommendation to, at the very least, the first 2 seasons of CB Strike are actually really, really good. It's about a private detective.
We have
Good.
a 20 from Weary Traveler. That's Mary when Taco Bell inevitably takes the Crunch Wrap.
Crunch Wrap!
They are not going to take the Crunch Wrap away.
Crunch Wrap!
They better not. That's nowhere near possible. So Casey Bloys, I feel like we're like one of the 2 people on this planet who even recognize his name,
And I
because
still say it wrong.
We're like the only 2 people on the planet who follow pop culture news closely enough to know how unhinged he is.
No, okay, so here's the thing. The guys that I do like the Saturday streams with, like at Salty Nerd, they would know this. Just
Yeah.
like they'd know Pam Abdi
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and all of those people.
But nobody else is, like,
they're
even heard of
actually
this guy.
like, a lot of the times when I go and do those streams, I feel woefully unprepared because we don't cover it as much as we used to.
But he is the one who
Yes.
said that she is heavily involved with the series originally last year. We have another 20 from Bender McSimpson. "Happy Friday to my 2 favorite journalists.
No!
Brett, you won't put Meghan Markle flowers in the money guns and also won't watch 24. You won't do either of those things. Also give PCC 5 stars on Spotify and iTunes."
Here's the thing.
Please do.
I actually, this is going to sound really weird. I have a certain level of eternal optimism that there will be one time where I will turn on 24 and it will just hit right that day and I will end up liking the whole thing. It's too
The
in
stars
my
must
it's
align.
too in my lane as far as its genre and material for it to my brain can't be that messed up, right?
I want to get to the substance of what Casey Bloys said here because it's quite bizarre. I don't think anybody, even the most dedicated J.K. Rowling haters, ever claimed that HBO was going to infuse propaganda against trans people into
Nobody
the
thought
Harry
that.
Potter series.
Nobody
thought that. They were only objecting to the fact that J.K. Rowling is, of course, going to make money off of the project. That is true. And if you don't want to contribute to that, I guess don't watch it. Or boycott HBO Max, unsubscribe. But nobody was saying, like, what is even the thought process there? Like, they're going to be having all of the characters blink in Morse code, like trans women are not women, or like there are going to be subliminal messaging where you can play the show backwards and they're like saying like you will never be a woman.
Be on the lookout. Like, what are the colors of the trans flag? It's going to counter signal the exact opposite end of the color wheel for all of them.
What is the... I don't know. I guess Casey Bloys is just responding to an accusation that,
it's what I said
doesn't
before.
really exist.
I think that this was a shower thought, and he
Yeah.
got out of the shower, and then just wrote a statement, and it had nothing to do with nothing.
It was what he was responding to in real time in a conversation, so maybe he didn't think it through that deeply. But there was also a recent comment from John Lithgow, another star involved in the project, who has remained neutral / praiseworthy of J.K. Rowling. Props to him
I
for
wouldn't
that.
even say praiseworthy. He just kind of seems mildly interested in her.
Well, now here's the situation. John Lithgow is 79 years old. He has just locked himself into this project, which is going to be his last impactful role for an 8-year run.
I mean, unless he starts getting like double orders of adrenochrome,
Yes.
this is it.
He's also upending his entire life to do this. He is moving from California to London, and he is going to die there, in all likelihood. So he is in it for the long haul with J.K. Rowling. He made the bet, he took this gamble. He knew the risks involved given her reputation. And
it's interesting too,
he's not going to go back on his decision.
And what's interesting is, so he's done several roles in support of trans characters, but
including his role in Conclave as well.
Including his role in Conclave. But what's most interesting, I think, is that he didn't need the money. John Lithgow has been unbelievably successful for a long time. So this is, in my opinion, what it's like when an artist supports one thing but believes so deeply in the heart of art that you can convey multiple things and they don't all have to agree with one another. Mm-hmm. And he's taking a more neutral perspective, whereas most of the people that we deal with in this sphere have a very, very activist mind towards the art that they create, meaning that they don't want to explore ideas or characters that they don't agree with necessarily, or if they do, it's in a negative sense. And he's not even being that brave, because it's not like the content is subliminally sending messages the other way, as we just decided. It's more that he's taking an open and honest approach to his job, and the rest of the world is telling him, do not do that because you're counter-signaling, even though that's not what it's doing.
I wanted to believe that John Lithgow was staying offline during this period of his career, because that would be the best bet.
He has that going for him as well.
He's not, because he did actually come across the open letter to John Lithgow for demanding that he step away from the project.
Written by a friend of his.
To boycott J.K. Rowling. Well, it was not written by a friend of his. But here he shows it to the journalist interviewing him in the Times of London. Shows a text from a friend, a link to an article, the title, An Open Letter to John Lithgow, Please Walk Away from Harry Potter. The article claims that J.K. Rowling is anti-trans and attacked trans kids directly, saying there are no trans kids, no child is born in the wrong body. Oh, the humanity. Meanwhile, over on John Lithgow's normally cheerful Instagram account, there are endless comments from people telling him the same thing, that to act in something connected to J.K. Rowling is analogous to donning a Ku Klux Klan hood. Had he expected this? He says, no, absolutely not. Of course, it was a big decision because it's probably the last major role I'll play. It's an 8-year commitment, so I was just thinking about mortality and that this is a very good winding down role.
Maybe the idea is he just doesn't want to stop working. Like some actors, they don't want to retire. They want to go all the way up until the day they die.
That's his passion. I understand that. The only concern he had actually about the response to his casting was the fact that he's American playing Dumbledore. But instead, he received a text from, quote, a very good friend who is the mother of a trans child, press X to doubt, and that was the canary in the coal mine. He has played trans and gay characters in the past, but his eyes widen with bemusement at the rage J.K. Rowling inspires. Quote, I thought, why is this a factor at all? I wonder how J.K. Rowling has absorbed it. I suppose at a certain point I'll meet her and I'm curious to talk to her. So the criticism didn't put him off? He says, oh heavens no. So he didn't give it a second thought. He's in it for the long haul.
This is my new favorite conspiracy, though. Like we were talking yesterday about Papa Esiadu maybe signing up to sabotage it. He goes in and just gives the worst performance of his life on purpose.
Yeah.
He tanks the show on purpose because he actually is in line. That would be diabolical.
He keeps on showing up late to set,
Yeah.
and they take.
He puts a little flag in the corner of his Dumbledore robe.
They're like, every minute that we're waiting for you, these kids are going through puberty.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Hurry up.
And
yeah, they're just running out the clock so
yeah.
the kids can't, they age out and they have to recast at season 4.
I'm not going to make the puberty blocker joke again. I'm not going to do it. It's poor taste. But another star now involved in the Harry Potter series at HBO is Tom Felton, who played Draco Malfoy in the original movies. And it's not for a role on screen. Instead, it's been revealed by the Daily Mail he is going to be in a behind-the-scenes role in production. And this is possibly a way that JK Rowling has thanked Tom Felton for being one of the very few stars to basically take her side, not on the issue of transgenderism, but just that she is allowed to have her views and not be completely boycotted and blacklisted by her industry.
I think that they could hire him to be a freelance smarmy trainer. He could train the new Malfoy on how to be smarmy. He does a great smarmy on camera.
I mean, I don't doubt that when he meets the child actor, they're going to probably, go through his advice for playing a character. He's the only expert on it that exists, other than J.K. Rowling. So.
How do you feel about the changes that have been made? How do you feel about the possibility that it hurts the show? I was thinking about this,
meaning the race swap?
Yeah.
Yes, it absolutely would.
I'm saying viewership.
I think there were plenty of people who were planning to watch it until they saw that news.
Okay. So I was having a discussion with someone on X today about this, and I was thinking about the changes that were made to Rings of Power. And while I agree that there's probably a whole lot of people that were turned off by the idea of those types of casting changes, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about how when I think about Rings of Power, for instance, I think of Tolkien fans, and I have no evidence of this, but somehow to me that leans male and elder millennial and older, whereas when I think of Harry Potter fans, diehard Harry Potter fans, as big as that fan base is, I think of it as firmly millennial, and obviously there's friends of all ages, but that core fan base being millennial and skewing female.
Just by a little bit.
Just by a little bit, but I do believe that there is a certain percentage of that fan base that will watch either way, even and especially given the fact that despite her views, J.K. Rowling's views on trans issues, it's not like she didn't already race swap Hermione. It's not like she already didn't retroactively, adjust the sexual orientation of Dumbledore. She did all of these things that demographic would already inherently agree with. So I don't see that hurting this show, at least not as badly as I believe it probably hurt Rings of Power.
I'm wondering, is John Lithgow being instructed to play a gay, flamboyant version of Dumbledore?
That's what he's supposed to
do.
do. He's supposed to be flamboyant.
Well, they definitely toned that down in the movies, and if you switch it back to being flamboyant, as you would feel it's more accurate to the books, it is going to be off-putting to the audience.
It is really... no, because what people want... They keep touting book accurate.
The movies weren't book accurate.
It's the
and they were beloved,
the example that they always give is the one where Dumbledore runs up to Harry and starts shaking him like he's going to give him like shaken baby syndrome about, did you enter the Goblet of Fire? When in the books what he did was very calmly ask Harry if he put his name in the Goblet of Fire, but in the movies nearly kills him, gives him a concussion. I don't know. I mean, I do think that either way they're setting themselves up for some level of failure by doing that, but I don't think it's going to be as hurtful to them as it was for, say, something like a Tolkien property.
They should have just cast Adam Driver.
They could have done it, but they didn't.
Right there. It was right there, yours for the taking. I don't know if he would have taken the role, but I doubt they even offered it.
Yep.
So,
and yes, I am aware that casting Black Snape is not book accurate either. I'm aware that's not what we're saying. I'm saying that I just imagine that there's a core group of millennial women that will put their children down in front of the TV to watch it with them, and they'll watch it either way.
It's funny because obviously millennial women are the most likely to be trans ideologues, but they are also the most likely to be Harry Potter stans. So it's definitely a moment of reckoning for them.
Well, I mean, I guess I also think of it as like millennial women who might not be paying attention to what JK Rowling says in her private life, but pay close attention to whenever the next Harry Potter anything comes out.
The ones who are normal and well-adjusted and
Correct.
like pumpkin spice lattes.
Correct. They don't care as
Butterbeer.
much about race swaps as,
Right.
as other people do. All right.
Let's read some super chats. Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Friday, Brett and Mary. My coworkers put me at the top of their conclave list as I am the token Catholic. Nah, I think Cardinal Sarah or Pizza Bella." Yeah, I don't know anything about Pizza Bella. I just thought it was funny that people were calling him Pizza.
I was going to say, like, if he doesn't own a pizza shop, he's already failing at life.
Does that not literally mean beautiful pizza in Italian?
Like, if this guy doesn't have a family business
sorry.
that, like, please tell me
Is that offensive?
I'm not saying he has to have the pizza shop, but tell me somebody in his family has a pizza shop.
They asked me in the after show last night if who I would vote for, or who I would want to be Pope more if they were Cardinals, Matt Walsh or Michael Knowles.
You said Michael Knowles.
I didn't say either of them.
Oh.
I just said, like, okay, let's imagine for some reason in this universe, Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles are Cardinals. It's a very weird situation, but and that I'm also a Cardinal, so I get to vote. And I would still probably vote for the Hungarian Erdo or for Cardinal Sarah. You know what? I would cheat. I would put in 2 votes.
Both of them.
Yeah.
I'm picturing Cardinal Walsh being like, you're kind of
literally be
cardinal. Your kind of cardinal needs cardinals like me to survive. Basically, the
thing.
speech from you need me to be the bad guy.
What people don't know is that
Sick.
I bet Matt Walsh would be a Tedesco type, but Michael Knowles would actually be Tedesco in a Benitez costume so that he would have better chances of getting elected.
I'm picturing Matt Walsh as a cardinal. Like, you need people like me.
I'm
You
making
need
really
people like me so you can point your fucking finger and say, that's the bad guy.
That's the bad Pope.
That's the bad Pope. Let's do 2 more.
All right. AI Shih Tzu said Richard's out for the Gongo. Harambe is so 2015.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well,
Richards?
he's saying Dick's out for Richard.
Oh, I totally forgot about the Dick's out for Harambe meme.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow, that is a callback. Rest in power, Harambe. Anti-You said matcha tastes like fish food smells.
Ugh.
That's not true at all. What are you talking about?
That was like when I was telling Olivia that the new monster, it's this berry flavored monster, said this tastes like a Michael's craft store smells. She didn't get it.
Yurishima Otaru said intimacy causes chemical reactions in the brain. That's what I'm saying. It's like kind of unavoidable unless you've completely desensitized yourself.
I also believe that you have to take into account that as intimate as you want to consider it, you have to consider that they're surrounded by 100 people constantly being told, start, stop, start. It's not romantic. It's
not on a closed,
clinical.
It's on a closed set, so it's not like everybody is standing right there breathing down their necks.
There's bright lights
Yeah.
hitting you at high temperatures. Well, a guy with a clipboard, a guy with a camera, and a guy with a pair of headphones that they always only wear in one ear goes, roll it back, roll it. I don't see it. I don't see it. Like, believe it or not, when the music, you know when they're walking through the nightclub and everybody's dancing and the music's blaring? Have you ever watched a video of that when they're filming it?
Squeaks.
You can hear their feet on the floor and everyone's awkwardly dancing because there's no music playing. It's not a vibe. Okay.
No, it's not. All right.
Let's do 1 more.
Omega Red Fan said the one you love is closer than you think. Fiona, Burn Notice Season 2.
Then she goes, the one who burned you is closer than you think. And Michael goes, huh? What? Because he's not paying attention to what she's doing. Yeah, well, I mean, she's actually. She goes like this. She opens. She opens her.
Then came the rain and smash the spider out.
She
Okay,
opens
sorry.
her fortune cookie, and then she smacks it and opens his fortune cookie. So
She smacked her cookie.
his fortune cookie is on the table, and she
What
goes
is-
like that. Not that cookie. It's a different cookie. Let's move on.
All right. Hollywood has rolled out the red carpet for Alex Cooper, the host of the mega hit podcast Call Her Daddy. It is, unfortunately, the most popular podcast for women. That's it. It's the #1 podcast. And the way it originated is not too similar to the way it exists today. When it first started, it was a co-host, Sophia, alongside Alex Cooper, who has since left. They were a Barstool podcast, and most of what it consisted of was raunchy, graphic sex stories and advice on how to give the Gluck Gluck 9000 to your casual hookup.
All podcasts that give advice in the Gluck Gluck 8000 failed before it, but the
Right.
9000 did
That
better.
was the key. And it blew up. Eventually, the co-host left the podcast. She took it independent, and Alex Cooper sort of, instead of leaning into that raunchy side of her brand, decided to clean up her act and make Call Her Daddy into more of a tell-all interview show. And that has earned her the title of being the Barbara Walters of Gen Z, even though she is a millennial. A lot of Gen Z women listen to this podcast. And it's not that they don't address sex anymore. They certainly do. It comes up almost every episode.
Did they ask Kamala Harris about the Gluck Gluck 9000?
Yeah,
I
why
hope
didn't they
not.
ask for Kamala's advice on the Gluck Gluck 9000? She's an expert, after all. So now, here's the update. Disney is giving Alex Cooper a special deal where she is not only going to produce a dating reality show for Hulu, she's also going to get a personal docuseries on the platform about herself, where we're going to find out all of the secrets that she hasn't already told the internet, which is not much. So,
I mean, that's got to be hard. She's got a mind for content now in her past. Eventually, you know what she should do? She should have a series where she goes to see a hypnotist to try and regress herself to think of stories that she forgot.
I just feel like once you've told the internet about your venereal diseases, there's not a whole lot else that we're wondering about you. Again, I'll say it again. We should all know less about each other. But here is the press release. Alex Cooper, creator and host of Call Her Daddy, will be the subject of a new Hulu docuseries titled Call Her Alex. Very creative. The series will debut on June 8th at the Tribeca Film Festival, with its Hulu premiere coming on June 10th. In 2 parts, Call Her Alex will follow Alex Cooper in the lead up to her first tour. Per the official logline, the doc looks at her early years as, quote, a self-conscious kid growing up in Pennsylvania. And
I love that they add Pennsylvania like that
Like,
somehow
what's that?
added to her struggles.
Okay.
Like, you don't know what it's like to be a slutty little girl in coal country, okay?
okay, but it's like she didn't grow up in like the projects and like whatever.
That's
like,
what I'm saying. It's like, what does growing up near like steel
Taylor
mills?
Swift grew up in Pennsylvania too. Okay?
Okay.
She was also a Nepo baby. And charts her rise from a 24-year-old woman with a sex and dating podcast to the CEO of a media empire in just 6 years. This was Alex Cooper's statement on the project. I've shared my life with the daddy gang since I first started Call Her Daddy, but this documentary series takes it even deeper. It's a behind-the-scenes look at the moments that shaped me, the raw, the messy, the personal stuff I've never felt comfortable sharing until now. I just still can't get over that. Like, you felt comfortable sharing literally everything about your holes for about a decade now. No one needs to know any more details. My hope is that by bringing people along for this part of my journey, they'll feel both more connected to my life and more empowered in their own. And the way that she has thus far empowered women in their own lives is encouraging them to throw away years of their lives engaging in casual hookups with men who don't care about them, and keeping a roster never settling down, never committing to anyone, and destroying their own lives in the process.
Alex Munoz says they're desperately trying to find their own Joe Rogan, and it ain't working. No, they have their own female Joe Rogan. They need a
is
male.
this her?
No, it doesn't matter.
Who's
because
the female Joe Rogan?
It doesn't. They don't need a female Joe Rogan because they already have the female vote locked down. It doesn't matter. Like, they need a male Joe Rogan that like reaches men.
Well, the leak that they're trying to plug right now is the rise of the womanosphere on the right.
The womanosphere.
Yeah, the womanosphere. I don't even know how you're supposed to say it. But it's basically the way that Maha movement and RFK Jr. and podcasters like Candace Owens and Brett Cooper have captured a female audience on the right and are kind of siphoning off a lot of people who used to be left-wing. But Alex Cooper, I wouldn't characterize her as a female Joe Rogan or even she doesn't really have an equivalent.
Going into interviews with female political candidates means that she's somewhat connected in that way.
And to her credit, she did offer to interview Trump as well. He just didn't take her up on the offer because it was of no worth to him at the time. He would have spent his time more valuably on Joe Rogan, on Theo Von, on the other podcasts that he did. So I also want to get into the dating series that they're developing with Alex Cooper. And I should also mention her personal production company, Unwell, is involved in both projects. So this is a dating series she's producing called Overboard for Love, which is also
it
premiering
feels
on
kind
Hulu.
of uninspired because there's so many crazy dating shows now.
You can only take it so far.
Like Loving Luigi will be next, and it will be women going out to try and who can write the best prison letter to Luigi Mangione.
Well, they already have Love After Lockup.
That's true.
So it's kind of nothing new under the sun at this point. But this marks Alex Cooper's first series for her production company, Unwell Productions. The series is set on the high seas. A group of sexy singles step aboard a luxury yacht ready to mix and mingle and find love. But there's a twist. Gaining access to the yacht's extravagant amenities won't be so simple. As the journey unfolds, romance ignites, alliances form, and hearts are shattered. In the end, only one couple will reign supreme. Who will rise to the top and who will be left stranded?
Maybe don't do it on a yacht. Do it on a pontoon. Like, do it on a small boat so they're all in like tight proximity to each other.
It's obviously nothing we haven't seen before, like just nothing unique or inspired about
Make it a yacht that they have to build.
It's just what's more notable to me is the fact that the Disney Corporation has, marked this with their official stamp of approval, and they see Alex Cooper as a force to be reckoned with. They see her as a rising star who they want to put content on their platform.
So if you're looking to get the all quadrants of women in the Disney brand, you've got the parks and the princess movies for the plus size park hoppers and the Disney adults, and then you've got the Call Her Daddy podcast and the Alex Cooper stuff for the Gluck Gluck 9000 experts looking to enter into the advanced course.
Right.
They want to grow their brand.
It's like the grad school of Disney adults.
Yeah. So it's like, well, there's two, right? You've got the ugly friend, and she's got the hot friend who's a bad person, and they come together to make a friend group.
Yeah. In terms of who Alex Cooper is as a person, obviously I don't have a flattering view of her character, but she is smart. I'll give her that. Like,
yes,
she has made
as a business person, she's
every
very
correct
smart.
business
Yeah,
decision. Taking the podcast to the level of popularity it was at, and then making it an independent venture, and then taking that to the next level and having her own production company, and all the while beating the allegations that she was going to end up as a childless cat lady. She is currently happily married to, I believe, a man who works in the entertainment industry. I forget his exact role or even his name.
You can't say that she isn't successful. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a veritable success story, and she's yet another example of someone who has won for all the wrong reasons. You know, her actions clearly are not catching up to her, and they won't, because that's not how the world works. She is being rewarded for building her career and reputation off of promoting degeneracy to impressionable women who are likely younger than her. And I believe that this is just a sign of the times. You know, you're going to get rewarded for all the wrong reasons. And this is why Hollywood is, you know, rolling out the red carpet for her specifically. She is the future.
All right.
Shane H. Wilder said, there are more never nudes than Baha'i. Maybe if they cut a deal with Mountain Dew for Baha'i Blast. There are dozens of us. Oh. Dozens! Weary Traveler, Ulvin McGoth said, take that cringe and inject it directly into me. See, was that the cringe you were looking for? I hope that was a bad enough cringe for your taste. Pop Culture Junkie said, Brett, how did you end up with disagreeable cats?
Well, you see, I fell madly in love with a woman that had cats that happened to be disagreeable.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Well, I mean, toast is agreeable.
Right? I mean, I guess, but toast is also kept pretty separate from the other. I guess she's
not the problem.
Olivia lets the cats all kind of mingle together when she's at home now, so they can all be in one room, so that she can monitor to make sure that they don't get pissed and attack Toast when Toast won't leave them alone.
Well, what's the worst that could happen? They're gonna seriously hurt each other?
If it was me, if they were me, I would have just put them all in a room together and said, work it out. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, Shane H. Wilder. Weary Traveler, how dare you put the idea of the Crunchwrap going away out there? Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Well, I don't think they're gonna get rid of the Crunchwrap, because that would completely destroy their business model.
That wouldn't be good.
They wouldn't be that stupid, I hope.
Let's hold off on the rest. Let's talk about this absolutely just face-melting topic.
Yeah, everyone has noticed that celebrities such as Christina Aguilera, Lindsay Lohan, Donatella Versace, Anne Hathaway, and more, they seem to be Benjamin Buttoning in real time. You can tell they do not look their age, and they have seemingly come back from visibly aging in the public eye, and then suddenly hitting the Uno reverse card, and suddenly they look even younger than they did in 2006. And it's getting to the point where it's almost creepy, and the reason behind it is even creepier if the reports are to be trusted. A friend of the show, Andrea Mew, published a piece in Evie magazine talking about the disgusting cosmetic procedure that is credited for their rejuvenated look. Celebs are getting their faces injected with corpse fat. That was great timing. Thank you. Such a cheery subject.
Corpse fat.
Loves it.
Okay.
Yes.
Where were we?
She says, forget hyaluronic acid fillers. This new face plumper of choice comes straight from the morgue. And this is nothing new, by the way.
No, it's not.
Usually if somebody gets a chin implant or any kind of implant in their face, it is cadaver tissue. Mm-hmm. And that should give you enough of an ick that you decide against it.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to have donor tissue beyond medical necessity attached to my body for the rest of my life.
I mean, that's what keeps me looking so young.
Even the idea of wearing a wig made of human hair gives me weird vibes. Because it's like this other person with a soul, they're attached to you now. This part of them. It gives me the creeps, but...
I mean, but people donate their hair.
This is, well, I know. But I'm just saying, it still comes with some sort of, in my mind, an attachment to the person that it belonged to. And that's still not enough for these celebrities to decide against the procedure, because it is their secret to reversing time. And as people are comparing Anne Hathaway. They're looking like vampires.
There's also the Demi Lovato picture here.
Demi Lovato, yet another example. Yeah. Grammy Award-winning singer.
I mean, I
virtually
feel like
unrecognizable in new photo.
I feel like the corpse fat is like melting down into her chin.
She looks like Spider-Is from Sunny Patch Friends.
It could just be the
you
focal
know.
length of the camera.
You know, I think Demi Lovato might be another example of this, though.
Yep.
Yeah. So there was this viral tweet from a journalist named Heidi Moore explaining her rumored possibilities for how these celebrities are achieving their look. This was because Christina Aguilera took a new photo shoot for a magazine, not even looking like her original self, but still looking like she's in her 20s. Do you have that photo?
Yes. I showed it at the beginning as well.
Yeah, this is just kind of insane to watch. Also, I've been getting assaulted with Travel Town advertisements from Christina Aguilera.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like this mobile game. I'm like, are you desperate for money to pay for these corpse cadaver surgeries?
Must be.
Here is the tweet. To everyone asking how all these celebs are Benjamin Buttoning. Number 1, deep plane facelifts. This is meaning they pull the muscles up in your face rather than just pulling your skin back. So it doesn't lead to you looking like Joe Biden.
Yeah.
It leads to you looking like Lindsay Lohan. And then another one, fat replacement with a fat matrix donated from corpses. True story. The corpse fat is an injectable called Renuva, and it basically provides the scaffolding to hold fat under the skin for years, plumping under eye hollows, temples, etc. That's why celebs look younger as well as lifted. Then they provide these advertisements for Renuva, which is the label name for it, and it's from these clinics that provide the treatment. They are openly lying about what this is, and they do think you are stupid enough to believe it. They're saying, oh, it's a form of regenerative medicine. It is a growth matrix. These are branding terms. These are not actual scientific terms. They're coming up with ways to basically sanitize the idea for customers who would be understandably weirded out by the idea of putting a corpse's tissue in their
body.
face.
Yeah.
And not only their faces, it's also in their neck, their hands, their butts. You can do it anywhere on the body. And I think that's clearly going to raise some ethical questions. They say the use of fat from corpses raises ethical concerns and unease among some people. The procedure is not widely known yet and is considered a more discreet alternative to other cosmetic surgeries or invasive treatments. So there's no concrete proof that any of these celebrities have done this treatment, but I'm willing to believe it. And, you know, they do think you're stupid because Lindsay Lohan, for instance, was asked her secret to looking young again. Guess what it is?
Drinking a lot of water and staying inside.
No. Beets. She eats beets. Yeah, Lindsay Lohan swears by beets for her glowing skin. As revealed in a recent interview with Vanity Fair, she enjoys eating fresh salads with beets in them and credits it for skincare benefits.
How old is Lindsay Lohan? She's
42, I think.
No, isn't she she's my age. We were born on the same day in the same year.
I thought it was just the same day, not the same year.
Maybe it's a different year.
Let me look.
Either way.
Lindsay Lohan. Oh, no, I was wrong. She's 38, not 42.
So me and her, born on the exact same day and the exact same year.
No. She's 39?
She born in 86?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm going to need to borrow her beets, treatment. I'm going to have to eat the beets so that I too can look as young as Lindsay Lohan looks now.
Yeah, and guess what Olivia Munn's secret is? Sweet potatoes.
Oh my gosh, I always suspected.
Yeah. Because we're idiots. Because they think that
No. Look,
this.
these are just rich celebrities who want to help you feel younger, Mary. I can't believe for a second that you would doubt their intentions.
Olivia Munn has often credited Japanese sweet potatoes, specifically the Satsumaimo
Of
variety
course!
for her youthful appearance.
Of course.
She claims that these potatoes, which are high in hyaluronic acid, help keep wrinkles away. However, dermatologists have noted that no food, including sweet potatoes, can ward off wrinkles.
What?
You're kidding me.
Shut the front door.
So you're saying they're lying? It's funny because the journalist who originally posted this information about Renuva and about deep plane facelifts concluded that this is because of, quote, the misogynist, ageist entertainment industry. But it's not just that these celebrities are expected to look young. It goes deeper than that. They are not only expected to look younger than their age by decades, they are also expected to look younger for no reason. Like, they're expected to do so effortlessly, inexplicably, and never give away their secrets.
I'm with Layla Hedge, says that's the name of her surgeon. Maybe her surgeon's name is Sweet Potato.
Maybe. Yeah.
Dr.
B.
I do feel bad for them in a way. Like the pressure to keep up and look young forever must be very, especially as women, right? Like, I'm joking about it, but like, I'm a dude. Nobody's gonna care that I'm looking older. Like, not really.
Yeah, I would just appreciate them not openly lying about it.
That part sucks.
And not pretending that they're above it, you know?
Yeah.
I think that that's what they were attempting to do during the late 2010s, the early 2020s, when ugliness was being propped up as the beauty standard, because it was a way to, I guess, protest beauty standards in general, being like, I'm ugly and I don't care. Like, for instance, Lena Dunham has talked about how she has embraced herself finally and rejected beauty standards. Therefore, I'm going to be morbidly obese and have a disgusting haircut and never care about how I look. I think it's illogical because clearly the beauty standard is still holding power over you if you are actively protesting it. But I saw someone point out in relation to Demi Lovato the shift that has taken place in recent years. Said this not long ago, but there was a weird trend where people, mainly celebrities, were uglifying themselves, embracing gender dysphoria, and overall promoting mental illness / unhealthy lifestyles. It was roughly between the years 2016 and 2023. Something shifted at the end of 2023, and it suddenly became cool to be normal and hot again. Demi Lovato is the poster child of this phenomenon. It's true, because she was overweight for a long period of time. She shaved her head. She identified as a they, them. All of the things. And then suddenly one day she changes her mind and she's like, no, I want to be skinny, hot, conventionally attractive, and normal again. And then,
isn't she
like
the
nothing,
one who,
overnight.
Isn't she the one who serenaded a ghost because the ghost got sexually assaulted in a previous life?
That was during her crazy phase. Yeah. Yeah, but then overnight, it's like she's back to normal again, and she's in a relationship with a masculine-looking guy. And that probably has a lot to do with it as well. So, you know, I would appreciate if they didn't lie and expect us to just fall for these secret potions or recipes or products that they're selling us. And they could just say, yeah, I got work done. Like, you can say that openly.
Layla Hedge says Ozempic. Maybe they just found a cheat to the skinny part and then decided to just go with it because they didn't have to work as hard for it.
You know what? Christina Aguilera was overweight for a long time too. I think that she probably got on Ozempic and then she saw her face hollowing out and that accelerated the effects of aging. And she was like, oh shit, what can I do to stop this? And then got someone else's fat injected into her face.
Yep.
It's kind of sick, but with Olivia Munn in particular, I don't believe she has any ethical qualms with corpse donations, given the fact that she rented out another woman's womb to give birth to her child. This is how all of these people operate. They have no moral principles whatsoever, and they will do anything for vanity's sake.
But hey, they look great, so...
Yeah, gotta hand it to them. Like, Christina Aguilera doesn't look like herself anymore, in my opinion, but she does look young, so
she looks
that's
like a facsimile of her younger self.
She looks like a weird sex bot version of herself that has no unique characteristics.
All right, let's we got a 20 there, and then we'll do the super chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Come on, you know that to look young, all you have to do is to wake up at 4 a.m, half an hour before you go to sleep, dunk your face in Voss ice water, rub a banana on your face, and film it for TikTok clout."
It's Saratoga.
Yeah.
Ice water.
Excuse you. Actually, doesn't he wash his face with Saratoga sparkling?
Yeah.
Just for that extra tingle?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably his secret.
You gotta do it, man. It's what else? I mean, you're not gonna wash your face with Dasani and expect to come out looking beautiful.
Well, the secret to not aging, if you're not going to get any of these weird procedures done, is literally just not going in the sun. So that's what they don't like to tell you.
Sucks to be me, but I like to be out in the sun. So
You don't have to worry about it as
leathery
much, to be fair.
skin. Here we come.
Aging like fine wine over here.
Yeah.
Urashima Otaru said she should regress to past lives to find more smut. Alex Cooper?
Yeah, she could figure out who she was before she was Alex Cooper. And then she can talk about the slutty antics of that person.
Go ghost hunting with Demi Lovato. Find out all of the sexual exploits of the ghosts.
Ask the ghosts how they learned the Gluck Gluck 9000.
Yeah.
Ectoplasm everywhere.
What was that series that Demi Lovato did?
know.
I remember it was
remember
it was
the clip.
actually on a streaming service. Like
Yeah.
it was a real TV show.
I mean, everybody knows that Tubi is nuts. So
Let me look this up because I feel like I'm losing my mind. It wasn't just some one-off thing. Like they gave her a deal for this.
Mr. Muffin Man says Brett's going to be the old cat guy. Well, I'm going to be the old married cat guy.
Demi Lovato was involved in a ghost hunting series called Unidentified with Demi Lovato, where they explored paranormal disturbances and searched for answers about extraterrestrial life. In one episode, she visits an abandoned town of Vulture City, Arizona, where they encounter a spirit known as Carmen. Lovato sings to Carmen, who she believed had experienced trauma from sexism. And the spirit seems to respond positively to her performance.
How?
As indicated by the EMF detector.
So the electromagnetic frequency detector kind of started to spike. So it was like, it was doing the Jay-Z meme. The ghost was like this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kind of goes hard, though.
Right.
Like, why does this kind of hit? Why does this kind of hit?
Yeah. We have another 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. MoviePass has Mogul app in beta. Film buffs create virtual movie studios, compete by picking upcoming films, actors, and directors, earn points, prizes, based on real box office performance / awards. I'm on the wait list.
I mean, that's kind of interesting.
So,
like,
is this like fantasy football box office,
I guess
or is
would it
this
be like,
actual betting?
Like instead of movie, like instead of Roller Coaster Tycoon, you get Movie Mogul Tycoon.
Like you're betting on movies that don't exist, so it is fantasy football box office? Because I was wondering if there is an app that exists to bet on the real box office releases.
Interesting.
I wasn't sure if that was even legal, though. So
I mean, you can bet on anything these days.
yeah, it's getting pretty bad. I feel like gambling is like an issue. It's like silently screaming in our society.
The fact that, like, okay, so I just saw recently that people said that apparently Brittany Griner got caught betting on her own games.
Oh,
And
that's not allowed.
Look, I don't think you should be like allowed to try and shave points, but if you should be able to put a bet down, win or lose, and you always choose yourself to win, you should be allowed to bet on yourself to win. You shouldn't be allowed to only on straight games, though, nothing that involves the spread, because then you get into point shaming.
What's the reasoning behind the actual players being banned from betting?
I mean, players are not allowed. I mean, that's just always been a rule, as far as I know. You can't.
But is there a reason behind it?
Well, yeah. If you bet on yourself to lose, you will then not play as hard in hopes that your team loses and you win.
Oh, duh. Well, I just assumed that they wouldn't be shorting their own team.
No. I mean, it depends on how desperate you are for money.
Yeah, but they can also like ask somebody else to do it for them.
I don't know.
Pat the
Look,
plumber.
I'm still hesitant to believe that Shohei Ohtani just lost $4 million when his translator was betting. I feel like somebody might have taken a fall there because Shohei Ohtani is an incredible athlete and he's the golden boy of Major League Baseball. Something tells me that the fix might have just possibly maybe a little bit been in and somebody took the fall. I can't prove that. I don't know if it's true, but it rings that way to me.
But that's just a theory.
That's just a theory.
A film theory. Pat the plumber said, "Who is Alex Cooper blackmailing?"
She's
Probably,
not. She's successful enough that she doesn't need to blackmail people.
Probably that guy who she met in France that gave her like the clap or whatever. What did she
HPV.
get? She got HPV.
And then every time we talk about that, people in the comments are like, 80% of the population has HPV.
Isn't that something else?
I believe it or not, guys, I'm not an expert on sexually transmitted diseases. There's a 20 there.
I don't know. Pop Culture Junkie said, "You set up your own studio and then bet on real releases, and you win points based on how well they do in reality. It is a bit like fantasy football."
According to the Centers for Disease Control, estimated 80% of sexually active Americans will acquire HPV at some point in their lives.
Okay, but I feel like she was saying that it was like particularly severe for some reason. Because if it's saying 80%, that means mostly undetectable, right?
Yes, it says the prevalence of HPV varies depending on age, gender, and sexual behavior. 42.5% overall, 45.2% in men, 39.9% in women.
Okay, because she seemed like she was saying it was a real threat to her fertility. And if 80% of people had it with the same level of severity, I feel like that would mean we'd have a major fertility crisis.
Even if it's true, just don't talk about it.
Yeah, also don't talk about it, and don't talk about the fact that your current husband met you directly after contracting it from a random French guy that ghosted you. Yeah. No one wants to hear that. Well, actually, a lot of women want to hear that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Women love
nosy.
Holding the L is one thing women love to do more, even more than holding other things.
It's not even that the women who watch her show are nosy. It's the fact that they want to kind of wallow together. Like, they want to commiserate in this space.
Yes.
And the one thing that struck me about her story, the way she told that story, is the fact that she never wanted to have sex with that French guy in the first place. She was never into it. She showed up there and immediately had bad vibes, not even thinking that the guy was a predator or anything dangerous. She just didn't want to sleep with him, and she did it anyway. And she was like, I, to this day, can't tell you why I didn't just leave. She literally couldn't make sense of it, but she said, and I know millions of women out there, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. And I was like, yep, this is how we've ended up in this situation.
Too agreeable,
This is it. Yeah.
What's weird, too, because given how successful she is, she can't be that agreeable, because to reach that level of success, you have to be pointed and pushy in at least some fact or fashion. You don't reach that level of success by just saying, okay, like to everything. Like, I'll tell you what, that $125 million contract offer, that wasn't the first offer. The first offer was likely less than that. And she said no until she got the offer that she wanted. Right? So if you can do that with business, but some Pepe Le Pew dude comes up to you and you're just like, whatever. Maybe on some length you did want it.
That was Sirius XM that signed her.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
I believe so.
People in the chat are now arguing about HPV.
Why are we arguing about HPV right now? Is that
they're arguing about whether it's the clap
subject for people? Okay, I never said it was the same thing as the clap.
Some people are saying that, not you.
All right. We're not doing a sex education course on this show.
Nope.
It's not going to happen. Shane H. Wilder said, "Hi, I'm Alex Cooper, and you're watching Gluck Gluck 9000, the animated series, only on Disney Channel." she says, using a dildo instead of a wand.
Yes.
Did you ever even watch the Disney Channel? You don't remember that, do you?
No, I mean, I know what you're doing there because I've seen reels made about it. The ads and stuff like that.
I made one of myself, actually, like years ago. I posted it on Instagram.
Like when you were a kid?
It's no, like when I was a teenager, I posted it on Instagram. It's still up there.
Oh, yeah.
Francisco Sanchez Jr. said Alex Cooper versus Brett Cooper versus DB Cooper. What's the question?
DB Cooper wins.
Wins what?
I don't know.
A battle of the wits?
I mean, DB Cooper did supposedly get away with it. Granted, they never found him. So, but I guess Alex Cooper wins because she didn't have to jump out of a plane to get her money.
The
and
Cooper family reunion must be awkward.
Yeah. And then where's Alice Cooper in all of this?
Yeah, where is he?
Yeah.
I want to watch the Cooper family reunion where they're all there.
Or Winnie Cooper.
Yeah. Yoshima Otaru said, yep, they use organ donors and foreskin for cosmetics. True. And that's why I advise anyone watching not to be an organ donor, because not only will they use your tissue for cosmetic procedures or, you know, things that you don't consent to, it's also often the case that hospitals think they can make more money off of you, not by treating you, but by killing you and selling your organs. So keep that in mind. Dull and Tired said cheesy gordita crunch over anything else on the menu. Disagree. I think it's gotta be Crunchwrap at the top.
I saw somebody in the chat mention how they got rid of the double-decker taco and they got rid of the Mexi Melt. Yeah, not having the double-decker taco sucks.
I don't even remember the Mexi Melt.
Double-decker taco and the chili cheese burrito, really, which was a staple.
They're kind of slacking with like the new releases. I have been getting Taco Bell like much less often after Lent. I've only gotten it like one time.
Oh, really?
Lent.
Only one time?
Because it's just not really. They're
not
really.
You got
like,
out of the habit.
Maybe that's it. But like, the new stuff that they keep coming out with is always such a thoughtless cash grab. Like, where's the creativity? There's been nothing great since the Cheez-It Crunchwrap, and even that they didn't master the recipe.
I also want to shout out Marissa Cooper and Julie Cooper.
Oh my gosh.
If you've ever seen the OC.
Like, all they've done now is bring back the chicken nuggets at Taco Bell for a limited time. Nobody wanted them in the first place.
Weak.
Like, who wants chicken nuggets when they go to Taco Bell? It's not why you're there. So dumb. They brought the, what is it called? Whatever the chicken strips were at McDonald's.
I saw that.
They brought those back.
Yeah.
See, I get that. You're going to McDonald's. This might be something you would want. The Manic Mustache said, late as usual, but apropos to Tuesdays. Don't take your crunch wraps for granted. Look what happened to the Bell Beefer and the Enchirito? STMF.
Why does the Enchirito sound so familiar?
I don't know what either of those things are. They've never had enchiladas. Is it an enchilada burrito?
Sounds good.
Pop Culture Junkie said, corpse fat, ugh, the actual definition of body horror in a future Blumhouse film, pretty high on my creepometer.
And a movie I will not watch and probably tell you is lame.
It's just bad juju, you know? Like, you don't want to be, I have relatively woo-woo beliefs about these things. You don't want to be attached to the wrong person or have talismans that have bad energy about them. You don't want to you know, have a tattoo that says something that's like a word that's negative, you know?
Yeah,
like
I mean,
you don't want to.
What Ian would be right now telling you, yeah, I'm with Phil.
For instance,
align your chakras.
I did joke in the past about getting a tattoo dedicated to the show if we reached. I don't remember the milestone, but I said I was gonna get Crisis tattooed inside my lip because the invisible tattoo doesn't even count and it goes away after a couple years. But then if I realized, like, I'm gonna put the word crisis on my body. And that feels like attracting crises into my life. Yeah. So I wanted to do it, and it is catchy. Like, I want to do it still, but I realized it was a bad idea. Ulvin McGoth said 9 out of 10 gamblers make it big before quitting. Wait, is that actually true?
No.
I'm sure they make it big and then they lose it big.
I don't think 9 out of 10 gamblers make it big, but I think the house always wins.
Well, true. Pop Culture Junkie said Blumhouse posted the entire Megan movie free on YouTube to hype the upcoming sequel. Good marketing idea or unneeded loss of streaming revenue?
I mean, what was it on? I thought Megan was on Peacock at one point.
I don't remember, but that is surprising that they would do that.
I mean, maybe that becomes the new marketing push going forward.
For sequels, at least?
Yeah.
Maybe. But they get the ad revenue still.
Yeah. They just drop ads at the most inopportune times.
Yeah.
My favorite part about watching like old network shows on like Roku is the ads are not where the ad breaks would have been for the network show. So it's like what'll happen is like, you know, your ads go in predictable places at a certain length of time throughout an episode of a 42-minute show. And the ad on Roku will come like 8 seconds right before the very clear end of the scene.
Oh, yeah.
And it just starts over.
There's going to be a huge ads change on YouTube on May 12th, I heard.
What's that? Like, what's the change?
They're going to not give you the option to place them yourself.
At
At least that's what Kellen told me.
I
think
don't know
he
if I
would
believe that, but okay.
That's
Maybe.
what they said. Johnny Napalm said, I stopped getting Taco Bell after I had to get dewormed. TMI.
So like what? You had to
TMI.
take like horse dewormer? You had to take
That's
ivermectin?
disgusting. But yeah, congrats or sorry that happened.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Chat. I saw somebody in the chat sadly call us this a brain rot show. I don't think that my brain is completely rotted yet, though.
No, we've still got some brain cells
I've got
left.
at least 3 brain cells left.
I'm gonna check. I want to check on our rating.
Yeah.
I'm getting like anxious about it now.
About the
But when I saw that it had such a huge jump from yesterday, I kind of realized for a second, like, wait, people actually listen to what I'm saying?
when we say stuff, yeah.
Because people make so many jokes about listening to us as background
Yeah.
noise.
It never actually translates that when I say something, people actually listen to it.
You mean
At all. Like, one day
You
I'm
think
gonna...
they don't listen or that they
that
do?
they don't. Like, in my brain, nobody ever actually listens to a thing that I say.
Well, that's what I thought
Yeah.
until now. Like, at least 100 people have listened. No,
Yeah.
more than 100 people have been listening to what I've been saying, enough to even go to Spotify and rate our show when I asked. And I was like, wait a minute, there are actual real people who
Mary
watch us.
requests you get us a second crisis party.
That's my official request now.
Yeah.
We won't be leaving this studio for the weekend without a second
I
party.
do request that people add Marissa Cooper and Julie Cooper and Jimmy Cooper to the list of Coopers. That's the Cooper family from the OC, and I love the OC.
Still haven't gotten around to watching that,
You should.
but you did say that it was something I would like.
I do. You know what? I find that teen dramas from that time period, despite the fact that they have some degeneracy, somehow felt more wholesome than stuff today.
How was OC degenerate?
What would be? I mean, like, there's kids taking drugs. There's kids
On camera?
No, not on camera. I mean, like, actually, I don't know. When Marissa overdoses, does it shown on camera? I don't think it's shown on
So
camera.
much for that spoiler.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
The OC was great. There's a 20 from Carnell.
Hey gang, I wanted to ask if you do a trailer reaction to the Hurry Up Tomorrow starring The Weeknd, Barry Keoghan, and Jenna Ortega. I want to assume Mary may find the premise worth the speculation.
You could do that on Monday.
Yeah. But we can't right now because then it's going to
Demonetize
get the episode dinged.
Yep.
We have another 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. Okay, last time, more people I have met: Jeff Bezos, Ryan Seacrest, Terry Bradshaw, Pat Buchanan, Jimmy Buffett, Steve Allen, Gene Roddenberry, Katie Holmes, Richard Dean Anderson, Ruth Warwick. Is that how I say it? Warwick?
Yep.
Kane's first wife in Citizen Kane.
Wow. What was
That's insane. But then you can't just drop that information and then not provide the context. I want to know what happened.
Did Katie Holmes tell you any Tom Cruise secrets? I want to know.
Here's a fun fact, not about me, but about my brother. He threw up on Steve Forbes as a baby. I don't remember how the situation even happened. I think Steve Forbes like held him.
And then he's like, "Bleh."
Yeah, and then he just puked all over
Maybe Steve Forbes smelled.
I think he handled it well though. But yeah.
I want to know if Katie Holmes told you any secrets about Tom Cruise. I was listening. I've told this story before. I was listening to an episode of Chris Van Vliet where he's talking with AJ Styles about all the people. He's like being like interviewed by the guy he's interviewing a little bit at the end of the episode, and he asks him about all the famous people he's met. And he was talking about how by interviewing Tom Cruise is like the most one of a kind experience. Like he's there, you're in this area with hundreds of other people, and Tom Cruise just looks at you like nobody else in the world exists, and you're just enamored with him.
In a very Ian Crossland.
In a very Ian Crossland way. Yeah.
We have another 20 from Value in You to PCC, the modern day coffee talk. We love you guys. Dragonfly, Neetha, Dragon, Noah, Fly, discuss.
Well, I don't know what any of that means, but I do know
I'm lost.
that when it comes to coffee talk, I do preface before I make fun of Eminem, given that my fiance is from Detroit.
Do you remember the Tom Cruise interview? I forget the name of the interviewer. I don't know if it matters. Where he asks about Nicole Kidman after the breakup. And Tom Cruise, like, it was going viral again recently. Tom Cruise said to him, like, "You're crossing a line."
I saw that clip coming about the other day where he's like,
weirdo.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. And then the interviewer, understandably, he says, well, people want to know these things about your life. And then Tom Cruise says, no, you want to know. Take responsibility for what you want to know. And it's like, okay, now you're just being
That's him being
ridiculous.
disingenuous because he knows the way the industry works. That guy didn't just necessarily write that question down himself.
It doesn't mean this journalist gives a fuck about your relationship or lack thereof with Nicole Kidman. Like, it's so narcissistic. And it was just, I don't know. It was like he wanted to throw his weight around, and Tom Cruise has done that so many times.
Yeah, but I don't care. I love the guy.
Whatever. I mean, I guess he knows that he's allowed to get away with it because he's a great actor.
Why would anybody say something mean about Tom Cruise?
Like, obviously, people are interested in your private life. You're a celebrity. Duh. The journalist didn't just make that up out of thin air. Well, obviously, people want to know about your relationship status.
We're just going to leave him awkwardly staring, like, just out of the
Great.
kind of like that shot yesterday.
Ah, he's still looking. I can't escape him. Thank you. We do have another 20, which I'll get to in a second. From Dame Dragonfly. Farming in Northeast Oregon and taking care of some family. 80 degrees and balmy. Tomorrow is going to be 50 and raining. Milton Freewater has the best TB ever. Taco Bell? Come visit sometimes. We have wine, veggies, cheese, and meat. Love you.
The best tuberculosis?
Taco Bell, I think.
Oh, okay.
But I have jokingly called it TB.
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, I have a disease.
That does sound good, though. All of that sounds very good.
I could really go for a charcuterie board right now. How about you?
Just olives.
Just olives?
Just olives.
That's the only part of the charcuterie board you like?
On more than a few days, I eat just olives and pretzels.
And you don't like cheese?
I like cheese.
Like,
I like
what's
cheese.
what's your beef?
I just always have olives at home.
Shane H. Wilder said, Mary, people just don't want you to beat Brett. Understandable. I never threatened to, but if you want to believe that that's what's going to happen, then go right ahead. Believe whatever you want. Yurishima Otaru said, Mary is beating Brett again. For shame. No, I'm not.
She's not.
Do you see any marks?
She's got all the phone books just off to the side.
We don't have a hair and makeup team, okay?
Yeah, that would be nice.
AI
I could
Shih
use
Tzu
it. I could use it.
for your hair.
Yeah.
You do kind of stress about your hair.
Okay, so there are just certain days where it just has a mind of its own, and even if you put like pomade in it, it just goes the opposite direction.
It's like it's sentient.
It kind of feels that way sometimes.
AI Shih Tzu said, change suitcase to corpse fat in crisis party.
I like
Perhaps
my
Phil will
corpse fat.
dance. I like my corpse fat. Let's go. I like my corpse fat party. Hashtag that's metal.
I like my corpse fat.
I'd rather not be reminded of corpse fat every day, multiple times a day. But that's just me. Maybe we'll change it. I don't know. I don't have any ideas for the crisis party sound. I've run out of ideas.
I mean, I'm not.
Like,
I don't anymore because I'm not allowed to just make chaotic explosions and trauma-inducing sounds. So there's a 20 there.
From OJ Wales. Went to Zachary Levi's house parties a few times around 2008 to 2010. Met too many people to remember, but Andy, Dick, and Nathan Fillion are some names to drop.
Okay, all right, that's kind of cool. So
Okay.
that's weird because
How do you end up at a Zachary Levi house party in
Like-
2008?
Zachary Levi in 2008, that would have been like right after Chuck started, because Chuck started in 2007. So where was he living? What were these parties like? I would
What
like
was the house like?
Like I imagine, like in my head, he's actually in his like nerd herd uniform from the show, where you know, like his little white button-up shirt, tie, and black pants, and his Converse that he wore on set, and he looked just as nerdy then. See, the problem is then after Chuck, he went and bulked up and got in a really good shape. Now he just doesn't look
me
like
look
Chuck
this up.
anymore. Like
I never watched it.
if
so
they
I don't
ever
know.
brought Chuck back, he'd have to lose some of all the muscle mass that he put on.
For Shazam, you mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if he just did it for Shazam, but he'd have to lose that muscle mass.
Wow, he doesn't even. It's weird. Like the having a different haircut makes him look like a totally different person.
Oh yeah. He's like half of the geekiness for him was just having kind of
Poofy.
hair.
Yeah. Interesting. Also looks like he got spray tans back then, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I want to hear Pop Culture Junkie's backstory meeting Ryan Seacrest too.
It's also weird because he's like, I was at a like. Nathan Fillion is older than Zachary Levi by like at least 15 years, right? Like 15, 20 years.
I think so.
Everybody's just hanging out networking.
They're not networking. Come on.
What were they doing?
Spirit cooking.
Okay,
obviously.
that's what they were doing. Okay. Oh yeah, something evil.
Yeah.
It's Hollywood, even though Zachary Levi is like
Based.
I guess.
I don't know. That's what people.
I
think.
mean, so me and Olivia point out that we basically fell in love watching Chuck. So that's a thing.
That's cute.
That's a thing.
It's like our song, but it's our show.
Our show. Yeah.
DCNC said, "Have those enterprising cats brought home a paycheck yet?
They're layabouts. We
Do
build.
they bring home birds?
We
or
bring
rats?
them. We bring them offices of their own, and they don't bring home any money. We have these cat. You know, the little cat cars that have little scratch boxes in the bottom. No,
What? Thank you.
Chloe has like a little hot dog cart. It's like if you had like a mobile food truck, but it's a hot dog truck.
That's
Chloe has
cute.
her own that she sits in, but for some reason she never brings home a paycheck.
Yeah, what the heck?
And Toast has a donut truck.
Aw. That's sweet.
And yet they bring home no money. Like, how am I supposed to pay the bills if they can't help? Stop it. Thank you.
They're a bunch of feline freeloaders.
They are. They're layabouts.
Pop Culture Junkie said, just talked to Katie Holmes briefly at the 2000 NATPE TV program. What is that? Convention in New Orleans. She was plugging Dawson's Creek in syndication. She was very nice and surprisingly tall.
So I tried to watch Dawson's Creek. I tried. I gave it a try this year. to try and watch Dawson Creek. I thought it's something that Olivia might like because she likes Gilmore Girls, and I can't. I tried Gilmore Girls. I can only make it so far. It's like obsessed with sex. They're like teenagers, and the show is obsessed with sex. And Joshua Jackson's character within like the first 3 episodes starts having an affair with his teacher at age 15.
There were themes of that in Gossip Girl as well. But do you mean that there were sex scenes?
No. Just the show is obsessed with teenagers talking about sex.
In like a creepy way,
No,
you feel?
I don't.
Because it was written by adults, obviously.
It was written by adults, and I guess probably at the time it doesn't feel that way. And I wouldn't say that I call it creepy. I would say that I find it overbearing and very clearly, like, all I can think about is, like, this feels like a Hollywood writer because we know what we know about the Hollywood industry. It feels like a Hollywood writer writing for the audience that they think that they want to watch it.
Is the audience supposed to be teenagers or adults?
I feel like the audience is supposed to be young adults.
Because when I heard about Euphoria without watching it, it seemed like it was mostly adults in their like late 20s or early 30s who were watching it, not teenagers themselves. Because teenagers of today would never watch Euphoria and find any piece of it relatable.
Yeah.
Like, none of it is relatable.
P-Tran says, try One Tree Hill. Oh, no. One Tree Hill is amazing, and everybody should watch One Tree Hill. I don't care what anybody says. I will not accept any.
Is it more wholesome?
It feels more wholesome to me. The half-brother rivalry is great. It's a great show.
I'm just going to give up hope on Scream Queens for you. I think once
I'm not snarky enough of a person to watch Scream Queens, I don't
What are you talking about? What does that have to do with it?
Because the tone of the show is snark.
So is the tone of Buffy.
It was a more wholesome snark because it was from a previous era.
Shut up. It's a fake excuse. Shane H. Wilder said, my Sunday Catholic Friends post is going to be over suffering, inspired by something Mary talked about on IRL and a Stephen Fry comment. Thanks, Mary. Well, you're welcome, but I don't remember what I said. Might have been in our discussion about AI last week. Or about Neuralink or something.
Yeah. Antonius Block says 15, is that legal? Well, no, it wasn't legal for for the 15-year-old student, for the kid to be having sex with the teacher.
No.
It unapologetically portrays him as like pursuing her and interested in her,
and not in any way that it's weird.
It portrays later that it was wrong, and then she's like, I gotta go, because like they get caught, and then
she skips town.
She basically, if I remember correctly, what happens is they get caught. She tries. She's eventually gonna get blamed for it, and then like he somehow tells the school board that it didn't happen, but her reputation is now in shambles anyways, so she leaves town, and that's what happens.
Okay.
But it's in never, from what I remember, like it never portrays it as her taking advantage of him. He is unapologetically pursuing her, and she almost like Alex Cooper is like, I don't really want to. Aw, shucks, I guess I'll do it anyways. That's what it felt like. She was like she would be on Alex Cooper's podcast 20 years later. She's like, I didn't even want to, but I just I don't even know why I did it. But
feels like because it has been romanticized by Hollywood and pornography for so long, that is contributing to how common these stories are getting.
Yeah.
Especially, it's like you see a new headline about a teacher and a student every week now.
Yes.
I think it is partly because people are influenced by this media.
Probably because they were watching Dawson's Creek. She's like, look, I watched Dawson's Creek when I was in high school. It wasn't wrong then. Why is it wrong now?
That's what they're trying to normalize. Yep. They know that that's the kind of influence they have over their audiences. Yep. And given the nature of everything we just discussed, I completely misinterpreted the following super chat from OJ Wales. My roommate dated his sister/assistant. I thought you meant that your roommate dated his own sister.
That's what I thought it meant.
But he meant his roommate dated Zachary Levi's.
Oh,
sister.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Okay.
Also, Joshua Jackson's character's name in the show is Pacey, and any kid with the name who was given the name Pacey by their
What?
parents should get a free ride in life
That's a
because their
mistake.
parents hate them.
A Pop Culture Junkie sent a 20. Met Seacrest at an evening meet and greet at bar on the Sunset Strip in 2005 at Fox Station meeting. Have photo. Told me what his weekly schedule. He essentially had 3 full-time jobs at the time. Nice guy, very personable.
I mean, I think about like Ryan Seacrest's job or like Carson Daly's job was to be like engaging, but not too engaging. Like when you think about what Carson Daly's job or any of these people who host is like the host, not the judges on like The Voice.
It can't be easy.
Their job is to like carry the through line, but never steal the show. Like you shouldn't remember seeing them. He should ask questions. He should move the episode forward, but you should almost forget he exists.
Hidden in plain
Yeah.
sight. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Also, don't look up what happened to the lead guy from Seventh Heaven because that guy ended up being a bad person.
Okay, I won't look it up
Yeah.
then, I guess. Gordon Shumway said, so when Brett comes in with 2 black eyes, does this mean he didn't listen twice? Just a reminder to do a review on Spotify so Mary doesn't beat Brett anymore.
Well, no, see what it is actually I was initiated by the Illuminati, but to hide it,
Yeah, you joined the Black Eye Club.
I gave my other eye a black eye so that I wouldn't be found out.
Isn't that what it's called? The
Black Eye Club?
Black
Whoa.
Eye Society? or
Black
something?
Rebel Motorcycle Club?
Exploding Prinny said, I didn't have Lindsay Lohan as a, what is this? Cybopath?
I
On my
guess.
2025 bingo card. I will have to chew on that for a while. Wait, let me look this up.
Hey, that's my birthday twin you're talking about.
Cybopath. This is bringing me to a comic book series about the FDA, an FDA agent
A comic book series about an FDA
who
agent.
solves crimes by receiving psychic impressions from whatever he consumes as food.
Oh, okay. So by maybe Lindsay Lohan can solve the murder of a woman whose fat was injected into her face.
Well, does this have something to do with her eating beet salads?
I mean, it's kind of like iZombie, where Liv eats the brains of dead people and then solves their murder.
Cybopathy is a rare ability that allows a person to physically perceive and communicate via foods.
Okay.
All right.
Eugene's right. I just mentioned iZombie. It's Liv eats the brains of dead
Yeah.
people and then solves their murder.
Shane H. Wilder said, it was the Neuralink stuff, and Brett, you have enough snark to handle Scream Queens. I have faith in you.
Whatever, dude.
He's never gonna do it. Pete Donovan said, Brett, did your friend who acted mean to his mom ever shout, Mom, the meatloaf?
He would yell so many cuss words at his mother. And I think I was more offended at the time that it was like, well, my one good ear was facing him. And he's like yelling in my ear so that he can yell past me to yell at his mom.
Honestly, I feel like he was doing it so that you would think he was cool.
Probably.
But
didn't.
you didn't think that it was cool.
No,
it wasn't working.
No, I like if me and my mom argued, it was definitely never going to be in front of other people.
No. Yeah, have some decorum.
Have some decorum and listen to your parents. They know what's best for you.
DCNC said Pacey, but Joshua Jackson can probably triple
Deke.
Deke.
Charlie Conway can triple Deke. I don't know if Joshua Jackson himself can triple Deke. But that does make me want to watch Mighty Ducks, Fringe, Cruel Intentions, now Dawson's Creek. All Joshua Jackson film. Well, I guess Joshua Jackson wasn't the lead of Cruel Intentions, but he was in Cruel Intentions.
Serenko Productions said it's why BoJack called him a Ryan Seacrest type.
Okay.
I didn't watch BoJack Horseman, if that's what you're referencing.
I do like that people. I'm seeing some support for iZombie in the comments. I recently watched. There's a great YouTube channel from a guy called Slipmaker who does great TV retrospectives, and he did a retrospective on iZombie that's really awesome. Mainly because it confirms my own confirmation bias that season 5 was ass, and
Usually season 5s are.
But he does this great bit where he points out the political messaging of iZombie that gets heavy-handed at the end of season 4 and a little bit in season 5, and extremely heavy in season 5, and he points it out in a way that's so like I would have aspired at one point to be as neutral sounding as he sounds in this review, and I respect that. So
We have one more from Gordon Shumway. I cussed at my mother one time, then my dad beat my ass to oblivion. Those were different times. I mean, can't blame him. Red Snow said, have a good weekend, y'all. Shout out to the Gongo.
okay.
Shout out.
Will we get to a fourth crisis party before we do outros?
The
I don't know.
suspense is
It's killing me. All right. Glad to see the people supporting iZombie. Hit the like button on this video, guys, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed already. I suppose if you're in the live chat, you've already subscribed. But if you are watching and you are not in the live chat, you may not be subscribed. You should go ahead and subscribe and like this video. Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
All right, guys, if you want to follow me, Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. We are here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than watching, as Mary would request, you should go on Spotify and get those ratings up, right? We want to get to 1,000?
You know what? We do have the weekend coming up, so I think it's reasonable of me to expect
To get
us
to 950.
to break 1,000.
Oh.
No, not 950. We should break 1,000 ratings on Spotify before we come back on Monday.
Let's see it, guys.
We're currently at 931. So
Okay.
that shouldn't be too hard. Just not even 70 of you out there who haven't rated the podcast because you're a fake fan. You can take action and change that today. High Voltage 75 said, who will win the Kentucky Derby this weekend? I didn't know that was this weekend.
Bro, you're asking the wrong podcast.
I have no idea. Shane H. Wilder said, Beats by Lohan or Beats by Dre? I choose Lohan.
There you go.
I would eat a beet salad tossed by Lindsay Lohan herself. Alvin McGoth said, I will be petty and unsubscribe. Well, I'd rather you didn't, but if you're determined, then do as you will.
Guys, if you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at popculturecrisis, Instagram at popculturecrisisPod. Guys,
Gordon Shumley said, what about Beats by Mary?
I can neither confirm
But,
nor deny. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back with another episode on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Later.
Bye.